Alright, welcome back. Today's bit of GIS fun is going to be getting into digitizing aerial photos. For those of you with slow connections or slow computers, this can be a little bit challenging because you're working with raster data, streaming straight from Esri's Basemap service. And so if the data for this week, it's if you download the data, it's nape dot un or underscore unt. You don't if you have a pretty good computer and a pretty good connection, you don't really need to do that. But it's a good idea to have it on hand in the first place. I've got a pretty decent computer over here, and I exported it in the first place, so of course I have it. So let's go ahead and unzip this, and I'm going to go through both ways to show your raster data here. We're going to go ahead and hit extract all. We'll wait for that to extract. While that's extracting, I'm going to go ahead and get into the tutorial. You need to have a blank map open. Make sure that you're in map view, or I'm sorry, data view down here instead of layout view. And so we're going to add a base map. This is served from ArcGIS Online, which is hosted by Esri, the guys who make ArcMap. It's pretty good stuff. And the way you add that is we're going to go to our Add Data button here, click that little down button there, and hit Add Base Map. And so we get this that comes up. What we're going to do is we're going to hit, we're going to select imagery with labels. And we'll hit add. You may get something that pops up asking about your hardware acceleration. Click yes if that pops up. And this is going to pull up, the world imagery. Pretty cool looking for well, it's the world imagery. It's the entire world. And so what we need to do from here, we know that, UNT, which is the area that we're going to digitize, UNT is located somewhere down in here, but we're gonna try to find it, right? This is practicing using the find tool, and we'll do that as soon as my computer stops thinking about what it wants to do over here. Okay, so ArcMap has served up all the labels and the imagery, and we want to use the find tool to locate University of North Texas. And so you need to find you need to use the find tool on the toolbar, and that should be this this area over here. There we go. Looks like looks like binoculars. And so we're going to type in. We'll go to locations here. Just keep that as the World Geocoding Service. University of North Texas, and we'll hit find. And it'll come up with matches right here. If you want to see where it is, you can see that I clicked on that and it had some weird thing that popped up right there. Hey, there it is, right there. So you'll see if it's in your map, if it's in your map's extent. If we want to go to that, we can right click on it and hit zoom to. And this will probably take a while. Hey, didn't take a while. But we can close that, and we can see that we are now zoomed into University of North Texas. I'm just going to kind of center that up on my screen here. Now, for those of you who need to add the nape file, I'm going to go ahead and close all this stuff. Hold on. Remove and remove want to, if you're not using the downloaded file, you don't need to do this. You just bear with me for a second. Trying to remove the base map here. Okay. What you'll want to do is you'll want to hit Add Data. Navigate to that folder. It should be in lab, I believe it's lab 10. Data, nape underscore unt, and then we'll just add this TIFF file right here, right? So we can see that this looks a little bit different than the Esri world imagery, but it's still going to work for our purposes. You can see it's a lot simpler. But if I had exported out the entire world instead of just the area for UNT, it'd be a different story. It would be just as difficult. So our map works out like this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of start the process of adding types or digitizing different types of features on a map. So first we're going to open our catalog. If you don't have it over here, you can click on that right there. It'll fly out. May take a second to open up. What you'll want to do is you'll want to navigate to your folder, and I have lots of them here. I should probably close many of these out, but here's my labs folder. So I'm going to expand this one, and we said this was lab 10, so I'm going to go into that folder. I'm going to store this in data. Every time I click off of this, catalog's going to close. What we're going to do is we're going to, here's what I'll do. I'm going to right click on data, and I'm going to hit new and then folder, and I'm going to call it results, just so I have my results in a specific folder. Now what we're going to do from here is we're going to right click on this, we'll go to new, and then we're going to go to Shapefile, because that's how we digitize files. They're going to be in new shapefiles. So we're going to create a new blank shapefile. All the shapefiles that have come to us have already had lines and points and polygons assigned to them. We're going to create one that has nothing with it, right? So we're going to do a right click, new shapefile, and we're going to tell it what kind of shapefile to create. And so for this first one, we're going to call it trees, because we're going to make some trees. Trees are going to be they're not building types. They're not road types. So they would be points. They're specific points on the earth. So those are going to be the feature type point. You can pull that down and look at these if you want, but we want to keep this as point. So we've got it, called trees. You don't want to keep it called, new shapefile. Call it trees. So we're going to now we have to give it a coordinate system. For this coordinate system, we're going to give it a geographic coordinate system. We're going to give it should be WGS 1984, so it'll be in the world. Here we go, WGS 1984. Should be able to hit OK. We'll see it populate here, and that should be it right there. We'll hit OK, and we'll see that a new layer appeared here for a red point, but there are no red points on here, right? Because we have to add trees to it. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do, I guess I should have explained earlier. We're going to be adding 3 different types of shapefiles here. We're going to be adding trees, we're going to be adding buildings, and we're going to be adding roads. Okay. Trees are going to be point types, because we can zoom in on a tree and we can see that it's located specifically on a point on Earth, right? Well, roads are going to be lines because they are specific. This road right here runs all the way down like that. That's a line, right? Even though it's a curved line, but it's still a line. So we're going to call that it's a polygon. So we're going to do the exact same thing here, except we're going to give it a different shapefile type. So we'll right click on results again, go to new, and shapefile. We're going to call this roads. We will assign it a polyline. We're going to give it a projected coordinate system, world, WGS 1984, hit OK, hit OK. We'll see that roads popped up over here. We're going to do this one more time for our buildings. Our buildings are going to be, those are, that's a polygon right there. It's a multi-sided polygon. It's not really a line. So we're going to go in here, right click on results, go to new, shapefile. We're going to call this buildings, and we're going to call this a polygon, give it that projected coordinate system, world, WGS 1984, hit OK, hit OK. We can see that buildings popped up over here. All right. Your instruction says that you're going to digitize forest boundaries. No, we're not going to digitize forest boundaries. It's going to be building boundaries. Ignore the forest part. Okay, so from here, let's go ahead and save this because I don't want to lose the work that I did. So we're going to go in to lab 10. Just save it right there. We'll call it lab 10.mxd. Okay, now we don't have to worry about the work, losing the work that we've done. Now comes the fun part. Now we're going to start digitizing. You want to open your editor toolbar, and mine's already open here because I do editing, but to open that you want to go into customize, toolbars, and then we'll go down, make sure the check mark is next to this editor right here, right? I can check it here, but it'll disappear for me, so we're just going to go back in and add that. And we can see that the editor, the check mark reappeared over here. Okay, my toolbar is right here. From here, we're gonna click on editor and hit start editing. And we have to figure out what we're going to start editing. Don't worry about this stuff right here. Just hit continue. And we have to figure out what we're going to be editing. This is supposed to make my Create Features window open. If your Create Features window doesn't open, what you can do is you can click on this thing right here. That will open it for you. Let's start editing. Let's start adding trees first, okay? So we're going to click trees right here. We're going to tell it what features we're creating and editing. And it's going to be trees. You can see that this changed to point down here. If we were to do that for roads, you'll see this change down here. You can see if you want to create these different types here, and the same thing changes for polygons. So, let's go ahead and start looking at trees that we might want to add. So I'm going to zoom in. Oh, I don't know. Well, you know what? Where's the geography building? Right up here. Okay, so this is the geography building. And I know it has some trees there, so we're going to, we'll add a couple of trees there. I got one here. You can see what happens whenever I create it. That point is created, plus it's selected. If you let's say that let's say I placed a tree right there. I don't want that there. What you can do is you can select this edit tool right here, click that, right click on it and hit delete. And it will delete that one. We can still see our, we've got this created here. Let's create a couple more trees. I'm not going to do this whole thing here with you because it's pretty easy to figure out how to create trees. I know that there's like 2 trees over here, so we'll create one there. We see a tree here, we see a tree here. And I believe the requirements you have to select create 20 trees. It doesn't have to be perfectly exact. But yeah, this is just basically we're creating 20 trees as point files. You can change the symbology on that to appear a little better, so we can see them. So yeah, I mean, and you can even change that symbology to show trees. If I search trees here, hey, I've got some different tree types. And so use your imagination. I mean, you don't have to do it like that. I don't particularly like these selections here, so I mean, you can use your imagination to make sure that these points appear well symbolized on your map. Okay, so when you're done with all that, you want to make sure that you clear your selected features by clicking on this deal here. After you're done creating your trees, make sure to save your edits. And that's different than saving the map. You want to hit editor, hit save edits. That will save your edits. Okay, so next we're going to do line features, and this is going to be for your roads, right? So I'm going to click on roads right here, and I'm just going to select a couple of roads here to work with. I'm going to do, there's a big curvy road over here, and I'm going to show you how to make curves in a road using straight lines. I'm going to start it right here. And so you saw whenever I selected roads, it changed to that crosshatch icon, or I'm sorry, mouse pointer. I'm going to kind of put it in the middle of my road here. And we'll draw a straight line down to, I guess, about here. And they actually have guys whose job it is to go in and digitize roads like this. I have done this work before, and it's a thing you can do. It is not fun, and I've done countless hours of drawing in roads. As long as it pays the bills, I guess. Okay, so we're starting to come up to a curve in the road. So how do you make a curve when you've got straight lines like this, right? Here's an easy way to do it. Just click on those small little increments to kind of trace along those roads like that. And for you guys' purposes, it doesn't really have to be, perfectly exact. If you were a technician or an analyst, this would probably be, you'd probably want to get it a little bit more exacting. Now I'm coming up to the end of the curve here, the end of my road. So what you want to do when you're done, you double click. And then we see that our road is drawn and selected. Not the best. I could definitely do better here. But again, this is just kind of showing you guys how to do this. Let's do one more road. I'm going to do this road here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click there, drag that across. I kind of want it to be a little better than that. So, and you can see that this road kind of slants. It doesn't really stay in the middle. It's a little bit weird, but I'm just going to, we'll just go ahead and double click. here to finish it. And so we've got our second road drawn. And so that's how you draw roads. I'm not going to go through and draw, I believe it's 5 roads, or I can't remember what the deliverable says, but make sure you draw enough roads for your deliverable. If you need to change any of those vertexes, here's what I'll do for you. I'm going to digitize one more road, even though I said I wouldn't. I'm going to click here, and then we'll draw it across. I'm going to say that I weirdly did this, right? That's definitely not a road. And sometimes you'll find things like that come across, and you're going to need to edit that. We click the edit tool here, and we select our line, if I can get it selected. There it goes. Okay. We're going to right click on it and hit edit vertices. That'll show your points where those were clicked. And so all you have to do is move that point up to right there. And then we'll move this point. Well, it takes a little work sometimes. Edit vertices. Here we go. Okay, so we want to select this one. I clicked it to select it. And then we're going to move it down. Select this one, and we'll move it up. Oh, that's not what I wanted. It can be a little bit painful to do this sometimes. Right click, edit vertices, select this one, bring it up. And see, the problem that I was running into there is too many things were selected. Oh, I didn't mean to do that either. Edit vertices. We can drag this up just a little bit, and then we'll edit vertices over here. Select this one, we'll drag it down just a little bit. Excuse me. Drag it down a little bit. When you have that done, you can hit F2 to commit that edit. And so I'm done with this road here. Remember to go back in, editor, save edits, and then we'll clear our selected features. And you'll want to change the purple. It's a very thin purple line. I don't like that. Bring it up to like 3, I guess. Yeah, I don't like the purple on here, but I'll leave that up to you guys. You know, this is you guys should be developing your Symbology by now, so I'll let you guys figure out good colors for these things. And the last one we're going to do is digitizing a polygon. So from here we're going to, well, we're digitizing polygons, we're digitizing buildings. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select buildings. I'm going to do this building right here, and probably this one right here. What you want to do is you want to kind of zoom in on it to make sure that you can see it well. So I've got my crosshairs here, and I'm going to select all the points around this building. And try to be as exact as you can. For some of you working on laptops without a mouse, you know, attached, it can be a little bit difficult. Try to do this as good as you can. I've got a curve here, so I'm just going to go around that curve. I'm going to go here, and so I can see that this is going to be the last thing I need to select because, you know, I'm coming back up to this one right here. It's just a, you know, straight line up from there. So we're going to double click to finish out that polygon. And so there I have a polygon. It's okay-ish. For actual real, you know, paid work, you'd want to do a better job, you know, around this section here. So what I'm going to do next is we're going to do this. But first, I'm going to let my dog out because if you can hear in the background, he's going nuts. Okay, so now we're going to digitize this building here, and I'm going to do a really bad job of it as soon as my dog shuts up back there. So I'm just going to do a really bad job of this intentionally, show you how to go back in and edit it. I don't know if this is the actual building outline. We'll double click here to complete it. Now how do you go back in and edit those, really bad layers? Well, you take this, the edit tool, and we adjust it. Well, right click on it, hit edit vertices. And you can kind of see through it here. If you can't really see through it that well, you can drag that vertex up to here and see where you might want to put it. So we'll drag that back down to here, I guess. Yeah, I hear you. Come on. Yeah, this can take some work. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drag that way up here and drag it back down. Yeah, that's not going to work very well. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep this here. I'm going to commit that edit by hitting F2. Then I'm going to go back and re-edit that vertex and drag that down where it's not snapping all the time. There's another way to do it, but this is just faster. So I've got that one edited. Let's go ahead and select this one, and select this one. See what happens. So it can kind of take some doing to do all this stuff. Let's select this one and bring that down to here. We'll select this one, bring that over to here. That's not what I wanted to do. Just that one. There we go. Oh. If this happens and it starts snapping way too much like that, it gets kind of painful. What you can do is well, they don't have the snapping. You can turn on and off snapping. I probably shouldn't have mentioned that because now I can't go back in here and figure out how to, or remember how to turn on and off snapping. Tell you what, just ignore that. We'll go in and hit F2 to commit that. Go back in here and edit vertices. Just drag this down to where it looks better. Same thing for this one. We'll go in and drag that down over here. Then we'll commit this. Right click, edit vertices, select this one. No one ever said this stuff was intuitive. Come on. There we go. So yeah, I'm just trimming up those sides like that to make it look a little better. We'll drag this one up, hit F2 to commit, edit vertices. We'll bring this down to make it look better. Yeah, so like I said, this is just kind of a sample. This still doesn't look very good. I would still probably want to edit this one and bring it up, to even it up. But anyway, that's what you'll want to do for this. You don't have to hit F2 to commit it. It's just kind of habit for me. But anyway, that's how you want to. That's how you're going to draw your polygons here. Make sure when you're done with that, hit Save Edits. Right here. So now I've got my edits saved for my trees, my polygons, and my trees, polylines, and polygons. We've gone over how to edit everything, how to delete a vertex that you've created. When you're done editing and you have all your edits saved, we'll hit Save Edits, and then we'll hit Stop Editing. You'll see that changes stuff in your Create Features over here. Go ahead and close that. From here, the assignment, the deliverable is, after you've created your 20 trees, your 5 roads, and your 10 buildings, you need to export this as a map, which has all the necessary map elements, you know. So we're just going to switch over to your layout view. And we see that we have our map right here. You can adjust this however you need to adjust it. I'm not going to tell you how to do this. I want you to use what you've learned in the class to create your own title. Doesn't necessarily have to be at the top. You could, I guess, zoom this up or shift this up here. You could put a title here, legend out here, I don't know, north arrow, authorship, scale bar, all that good stuff. By this point, you guys should be learning how to do these things on your own. I shouldn't have to walk you through adding the 5 elements. So, anyway, not too bad. It can be a little frustrating to add. I mean, you could see, editing those, polygons in there. It can be a little bit frustrating. Just take your time, make sure everything's digitized correctly, and create your map, and that's really about it. As always, we're going to be around if you have any questions, so let us know.